Olamide's Monday morning started with three things: a headache, sweaty regret, and the realization that he was about to lose his job. He had barely blinked before yesterday turned to today. And now, standing outside his office, he wondered if this was how execution felt. The security man at the gate eyed him like a disappointed uncle. "Olamide, my guy," he shook his head slowly, full of fatherly sorrow. "You sure say you won't go inside?" Olamide responded, "What if I just beg?" The security man sighed. "You fit beg, but you go still collect." Olamide squared his shoulders and walked in, straight into disaster. His colleagues laughed once they sighted him. He was about to ask them for an update when Mrs. Ajayi appeared at the entrance of her office. She wasted no time in waving him inside her office. If disappointment had a face, Mrs. Ajayi was its ambassador. She folded her arms, letting out the kind of deep sigh that African parents use before they announce your punishment. "Olamide, my dear," she began, "did kidnappers abduct you?" Olamide blinked. "Ma? Or did rapture happen and leave only you behind? Because how else do you explain disappearing for an entire workday without any notice?" Olamide fumbled for words. Don't waste my time." She raised a single piece of paper. It was his attendance record. "You have worked there for 1,080 days, Olamide, and somehow you have managed to be late for 1,077 of those days." Olamide almost took a piece right there. This wasn't looking so good. "But ma, technically, you know Lagos traffic," he responded weakly. "And now, you have moved from lateness to full-blown disappearance." She continued as if he hadn't spoken. He tried one last strategy. "Madam, let's be honest, do you really think I'm the worst employee here?" Mrs. Ajayi smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "No," she stood. "But you are my favorite employee to fire." Olamide's vision blurred. "Mrs. Ajayi, wait!" She pointed at the door. "Pack your things and go." Olamide stood up in slow motion. The world felt unfair. As Olamide reached the entrance, a sleek black car pulled into the lot. The sight of it drew him out of his sad state and activated his flight mode. "Ada," his heart pounded. He ducked behind the car like a movie extra in a Nollywood heist scene. He didn't want her to see him this way or respond to any question she may or may not have. And how was he supposed to explain that he had spent his entire workday dodging spirits in motion? Ada stepped out of the car, graceful, confident, and definite. She walked towards the office while Olamide held his breath, sweating like a man on the run. He bolted for the gate entrance as soon as she disappeared. The downfall ride home felt longer than his entire life. He was jobless, hopeless, and probably going to get high blood pressure before 30. His rent was secure, yes. But now his wallet was desperate more than the entire Lagos. He stumbled into his apartment, ready to collapse into self-pity. He laid on his bed. Okay, maybe the week wasn't a complete loss, he thought to himself. He had lost his job, sure, but he had saved a life. And at least, for once, he didn't have to worry about his rent. It was time to re-strategize. Tomorrow, he would start fresh, find a new job. He exhaled. Maybe it would be fine. He would figure things out, or try to.